6:31, call the meeting to order. Any modifications or changes to the agenda?
We do. We have three things. Quick park application that they just want to put a table at the concert series. But I had to put a park application for that. The location of the phone booth. And some ARPA fund things that we can do probably at the end.
All right, so you want to do the two park requests like after 8? Or sorry, the park request and the phone booth after number 8?
Sure.
That's fine. I don't mind.
Are you sure? Okay, Brenda is here for the phone booth.
But I'll listen to what's going
Okay.
on.
We'll knock the park requests out pretty quick anyway.
Yeah,
And then we'll do the ARPA stuff right before manager's minutes. All right. Anybody from the public who's not on the agenda tonight wish to speak? Okay. Next, review and approval of minutes for the May 13th meeting.
So long ago, I don't remember right now. Did you put them in there?
Oh, I might have put them in.
They're not even in here.
They're not even in here.
I remember seeing them, yeah.
You're gonna have to send them for my computer.
All right.
All right, we'll put that on hold for a minute. Let's do, I'm sorry, I don't know the whole acronym for FCNRCD, to ask the trustees to review and sign site access easement for the Trout Brook project. You have anything?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you well.
Wonderful. I'm Lauren Weston. Thanks for taking the time to review this site access easement today. I've also got Dean Pierce on the call to answer any specifics about that easement or the easement agreement. And so this is in regards to the Trout Brook Reservoir dam removal that we are planning to get underway this summer. Just a quick update on the project. We have selected Sloan's Excavating, and they are planning to hopefully mobilize it about mid-July, is when we think we'll have all of the permits ready to go. And so this document that is before you, and again, apologies I couldn't be there today, but the document before you is a site access easement that gives, that is also signed by the Northwest Regional Planning Commission, which is serving as the Clean Water Service Provider, which is the funding organization for this project. And so basically it conveys the ability of folks from the Clean Water Service Provider, the Conservation District, DEC, to access the site, to implement the project and to monitor it. Dean, please feel free to jump in and save me here too.
Just can I point out something to the trustees real quick?
Yep.
The biggest thing I would look at, I read through it, I sent you folks a copy. Page 5, number 6. Just be mindful. So it's a 10-year agreement, and then in 10 years, it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, if I read that correctly, it auto agreement for another 10 years unless we write something saying we don't want the access, and that's just for future maintenance and so forth. That's the only, thing to think about. That I noticed, one other thing was on number 9, page 9, just talks about restoration and so forth.
No, I think you're still on page 5.
No, it should be page.
It's the restoration of property
Oh,
disturbance.
okay, yep. Maybe number 9 then.
Yep.
If you feel that that's, good enough, if anything happens to our wells, that's the only area that I saw that speaks to the wells of restoration, and it's total restoration. If they dig a hole or whatever, they got to refill the hole type of thing. I didn't know if you wanted any more content around the wells, or if you feel that's good enough. Tell me if those are the two things that I just noticed after reading it through it. I mean, it speaks to restoration of kind of the whole ground.
Yeah, he mentions property, so anything, would include anything in that spot.
Look at the map. Forget how close they're actually looking too well. How close are they actually working to the wells?
They're not really working close to the wells. The biggest area is where well 2 crosses the brook.
I think there was concern with that upper one.
Yeah, that's the biggest concern is that crossing. And probably, I guess, possibility of damage if there is any. Hopefully not. Because if you remember when Lauren presented, Lauren, correct me if I'm wrong, and I think the last page shows you, they're not, one idea was to dig down deeper and drop the line. And now they're just placing rock and so forth and kind of a barrier around the line and then kind of backfilling to that.
That's correct.
But there will be excavation around that line crossing the river.
So is there anything about the plan that makes you worried about the wells, at the well?
No, I mean, we've kind of gone over it a bunch of times with Lauren, you know, we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on that. That's the biggest concern. That, and then, you know, the one, again, on well 2, a little bit on well 1, you know, just making sure equipment as it travels by, because they will be within our 200-foot, they'll be just outside our 200-foot buffer of the well, but, you know, any contamination, so.
Read that again.
In the number 5, I mean, unless you folks have, I don't think the 10 years is a big deal, and then the extra 10 years, just wanted to point out that if we don't proactively say no or yes, it just automatically agrees to another 10 years.
Yeah, we'd wanna have some sort of mechanism so that the board in 10 years,
Can review.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't like the auto renew.
Have them reapply. Is that common, Lauren, or is that
The renewal,
the auto renewal? Yeah.
I'm gonna let Dean answer that.
Sure. Yeah, I was holding my tongue because I don't want to make this last any longer than it needs to. The reason why there is the renewal is because we are funding this project as part of the efforts to reduce the amount of phosphorus going into Lake Champlain. And as you may know, the state of Vermont has pledged that it's going to do what it can to improve the lake. And the way that we're doing it is by counting phosphorus. And so I'm able to pass the money through to Lauren because there's a formula that is used and it tells us how much phosphorus will be reduced by this project. And as long as the project is maintained, the Regional Planning Commission continue to have that number on its books. We can call that credit hours. So we want to have it for at least 10 years. And as long as it's continuing to operate, we'd like to have it longer because the state of Vermont's commitment to keep the lake clean would require it. But we also understand that the village may not want to do that. But the way that the state has drafted these agreements, and we are given a form, and that's what we are basically required to give to you. That form says we ask for the initial life, and then we also have this language in about it renewing. But if you choose not to renew, you just inform the Regional Planning Commission, and then we have to essentially pull out the project. And we would no longer have the credit, the phosphorus reduction credit, and we would have to try to find it someplace else. Does that help?
Is it perpetually renewing, or is it just a two term?
Well, Lauren can probably comment better about what what's the real life. The project will be given phosphorus credits as long as whatever the engineer has designed does what it was designed to do. So if there was some change, some catastrophic storm or something, and what it was designed to do was all washed out, then we would have to decide, well, are we going to reinvest and reestablish the project, or would we just move on and no longer maintain it? We will, as long as the current system where EPA is saying to the state, you have to reduce phosphorus, our hope would be that we'll be part of counting that phosphorus. I can't predict that this system will exist in 20 years or 30 years, but for now, we're looking at 10 years plus another 10 years.
Okay, so after 20, it's not gonna auto renew again.
So it would renew, but again, you have the option of pulling out.
So it's every 10 years.
Yes.
we're doing it.
Yeah. It's not terrible. I just don't like. Are we gonna remember if we want to
Right,
within
yeah.
6 months of 10 years? Guess I'm not totally opposed to it.
Yeah, I think that we would just need to have some mechanism for the board and
To try to
staff,
remember.
whoever that is.
I'll make that my
we have to
retirement.
prepare.
Mine'll be the
That's
day
been
after
recorded.
this.
If it helps, we have a computer system where these agreements are being entered into, and as part of that computer system, there are reminders that are built in. I know this is all a new system, and who knows what the world will be like in 10 years, but the system that's been created does have reminders that are attached to these 180-day periods.
No, that sounds good
Or
if you
just-
can put that reminder in.
Yep.
I don't know if my calendar goes out after.
Be like, reminder for what? All right, well, I think I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
So if you're good with it, we got to sign in front of a notary. I believe Joe blessed us with her.
Thank you. Yeah, I did see us.
So there's a couple
Couple
spots you need to
pages
sign.
on the
I don't know if you guys messed up all the pages or not.
No, I think we kept it pretty close.
Okay, but there's a couple spots to sign in there. So
Wonderful, thank you everyone. John, I will plan to swing by tomorrow and pick up that signed and notarized copy, and then I'll bring it to Catherine Dimitrick at NRPC for her to sign her pieces and have that notarized as well.
okay,
And then I do plan on being, obviously John will be in touch about the exact start date of the actual work. We did also, I didn't mention, we got some monitoring funding for some pre-removal data and 1 year post-removal data to do some more intensive looking at the fish and the macroinvertebrates and some fun stuff out there. So I think it'll be a really neat project that we'll all learn a lot from.
that's good.
There was something in
Thanks,
our packet that
everybody.
required, when I was reading it online, we did have a
Thank you.
page with a bunch of, thank you,
That other signature.
signature page that listed all of us individually.
Right, so this says by blank duly authorized agent. Party name, date.
If I may, Mr.
Oh, that's the
Chair,
part.
Yeah,
a motion to designate you as the chair to sign on behalf of the board, I think would work for us. I don't know the board's practice. I hadn't anticipated that if the board's practice is to only sign documents where everyone signs, then I would just say we would just need to make multiple copies of that page.
there's another signature.
It's fine, you can both on
So,
office, John.
I guess I'd take a motion to designate John as our signatory for this agreement.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Pass that down to him.
You wanna do this now or you wanna wait, I can stop in tomorrow? I'm sorry.
Tomorrow.
Okay, sorry, Billy Joe.
It's okay. Just, you need to talk to them, or Sean also needs to talk to
I'll just come up.
them. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I owe you lunch now.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good night. All right. Next, park bandstand request from Enosburg High School for their graduation ceremony.
Came up to standard.
Yep, standard. Yeah.
I didn't see anything out of the ordinary there. It's been a lovely tradition they've been having.
All right. I'll take a motion to accept the park bandstand request for the high school waiving the fee.
Make the motion.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, EBCA Harvest Fest Park Bandstand request.
Again, just a park and bandstand request for Harvest Fest.
Same as
Standard
always.
to previous years.
Looks
Yeah.
about the same. All right, I'll take a motion to accept that request, waiving the fee.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Just FYI, we're gonna have right now we plan to have the open house that weekend as well.
Nice. That'll be good.
Yeah.
All right, number
Last year
seven.
we skipped the open house, right? So, because we were talking about maybe making it kind of every other, okay,
Bye.
checking my memory.
Yeah. NRPC table and tent request in park during summer concert series.
Yeah, this is again just another tent request by NRPC. Table tent.
Like to share information and projects that they're doing.
Yeah.
And both this request and Amy's under the rail trail one, they've talked to Shauna at the EBCA and she's fine.
All right, I see no issue with that. So I'll take a motion to accept that, waiving the fee.
I make the motion that we accept it.
I'll second
We got the
that.
fee.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Enosburg Conservation Commission Park Request Fishing Festival at St. Albans Street Pump Station.
This is that Sarah's been doing this. We've had it past couple of years. Down at the pump station. She's traditionally done Saturdays. This year they're trying to do it. They're doing it on a weekday, and I guess they've invited some of the summer programs to join.
Yep.
That's the only difference this year. Brian's okay with it, and we've notified Mark. And we've let them know they gotta stay out of the way. as
It's a
usual.
really cool event.
Yeah, no, that's
Really great.
Get my kids into fishing.
Yep. Yeah, and environmentalism and
Excuse me.
I think I did look.
lots of cool stuff happening there.
I remember in the past, did we make them put a portalet? I don't think they've had a portalet in the past.
I don't think so.
I mean, it's only 4 hours or something.
Yeah, and most people kind of like circulate through. Like
Yeah.
they spend about an hour-ish, go to the different tents and do the activities. Last year they had a food truck. I didn't see that
I
on
don't see
here.
that on here.
It's like grilled cheese person. But it was a weekend versus a weekday, so maybe that's part of the difference, or maybe they didn't have a lot of sales.
Well, I'm all for it. So I'll take a motion to accept waiving the fee.
I'll move.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, 8.33.
The rail trail one?
Yeah, let's do the rail trail one.
So again, Amy Adams as rail trail coordinator, stakeholder engagement, just public input and feedback regarding the management plan and the rail trail upgrades that are happening this summer from St. Albans to Richford. they're just requesting, and again, she's reached out to EBCA, just requesting a table at one of the concerts. 7/21 to be precise.
Well, I'm all for it. I'll make a motion to, or I'll take a motion to accept and waive the fee.
I make the motion to accept.
I'll move. Or
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. 8.66, let's find a place for the phone booth.
For our wind phone.
That's right.
Did you want these pictures? Oh,
Brenda and I kind of took a walk around village property to try to find ideal placement where it'll be undercover. Why I keep doing that? Oh, I'm just moved away. Did you want one, Brenda?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I can visualize.
Not me, I have to see it. Where we could do the phone booth for the wind phone project that we're collaborating with the library on. After kind of walking over around Echo Park, we thought, I don't know if you can sort of see my fainted red circle there, but kind of in that ballpark, it has a nice overview of the falls, and it's kind of tucked where you're up against the building, but you're also away, so it allows for enough privacy if
And you
needed.
could park easily for getting out.
Yes.
Somebody who drove.
That'll make it
But if
very
it's
accessible.
kids, it's easy to walk to.
Is there gonna be an external structure over the phone booth?
Well, what we have talked about is a cement slab, of course, and we wanna anchor the phone booth into it. And then, we were given a donation, for funds to use for the community, and we'd like to use those funds to hire a couple of guys to build a good roof over it and stuff, and make sure there's not gonna be any splash from off the roof onto it. So,
I think we would be looking at asking the village to pitch in for the slab and maybe see if, talk to Kenny and crew, they're familiar with especially the similar dimensions because of the park benches and stuff underneath, if that's something that we could contribute, since Brenda has all the funding for the kind of protective structure over the top of the phone booth. And then there's a couple other little things that we'll look at getting.
like seat, phone.
Yeah, we might have a phone actually, according to Dave Wescombe, an old rotary phone.
so we take the black one from down.
Yes.
And then when we get it up, we wanna have an official dedication ceremony and stuff. And, invite some news network and see what we can do for that. So,
Looks like a good spot.
to show the collaboration, and two, it also show that we're trying to support the mental health of the community, so.
Thanks.
Would we consider, I don't know if we should consider kind of extending the guardrail more in front of it so somebody doesn't do something goofy and try to drive their car into it or something? People do all sorts of goofy things.
Oh, I mean, I drive by there every morning, I've seen the porta potty on its side many times, so.
So that would be actually pretty far extending. It's a fence, it's not a guardrail.
Right, whatever that is. Even if it wasn't a full length, if we made some opening, some sections so it wasn't wide enough to get a vehicle through. That's all I'm thinking about.
So almost like.
Even if we did
So
something.
they would,
Almost
there's
like
a,
what we did
there's a
at
sign in front here, and there's actually, I don't even, it'd be,
We'll show a rock or something.
Yeah, a rock
maybe,
or something.
I think
Just,
I'll
In
like,
between, so you
I'm sure,
can't.
I'm
Just-
sure Scott can dig us up a boulder somewhere.
that's all I'm
um,
thinking is just give it a little degree of protection.
Okay.
And Abby and I have also talked about, a Wi-Fi dedicated camera for that area, because we want to be able to protect this. So, something may happen, but we'd like to be able to hold people responsible if they do something.
And we've talked about camera over there anyway, to add to the village's collection, so.
Yeah, I'm all for it right there. I think that would be a good spot.
Couldn't you find just a low phone booth? There's gotta be
We
some,
have a phone booth.
They have the booth.
Yeah.
Oh, you do have it?
This is just to protect, it's a very,
oh, to protect,
It's
very
a wooden one,
cool phone booth that,
almost 100
stop in during the
years
day and
old.
I'll show it to you, because we've got it we've got it in one of the garages, so stop in one
Okay.
day and I'll show it to you, but it's a really cool antique old phone booth, and it's beautiful old oak panels and stuff, so this is basically to protect it and kind of weather it in, so to speak, so that it doesn't get ruined.
So why don't we put that in the park?
Well, it's, what the wind phone is for, you want people to have a little bit of privacy, because it's to help them with grief. So you don't wanna put it center and everybody staring at them as they're,
And even if we had it in the park, Leonard, we'd still be doing the same weather protection slab for it.
and we're kind of thinking with the falls, it may help mentally as somebody is grieving and using the phone to help with the grief, that they also have the falls, which is beautiful, and to help.
I'm sure I can plant flowers over there somewhere too.
Well, we have flowers, we
Okay.
collaborated on flowers this year too.
No, I think it's gonna be great. I think that's a good location.
Perfect.
And we found when we dropped it off here that night, Eli, on the top there used to be a light that when you opened the door, the light came on. So I asked Abby if, the electric company had looked at that yet to see if they could
Might be
get that
some
reset.
Dave Wescombe ingenuity called into play on this one.
He's a good one to call
That'll be
and play.
right up his alley.
But it's so cool because it used to be you open the door and the light came on.
Yeah,
And so it would be great if that worked.
that would be neat. Yeah, definitely.
When they have him in, I'll add that, mention that to Dave. I know he'll take a look at it for us.
So do we need a motion or anything tonight, or what would you like to see from us?
If you want to do a motion just to approve the location so we have it, I think that would not hurt anything.
Okay.
And maybe the cement part.
And if we're willing to pitch in to do the slab, and then I can coordinate with Kenny when their schedule allows.
Yeah, I'm for it. So I'll take a motion to approve the location and to approve pitching in for cement slab.
I make the motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Oh,
Excited.
Oh,
It's coming together.
Ooh, that's a
And
really
if you
good
didn't
idea.
know,
'Cause we can
the
just
summer
dig it
reading,
out.
just right here real quick. We're gonna do our summer
really
reading
good
finale
idea.
on a Saturday in August. We've had a 18-hole mini golf course is gonna be set up in the rec fields. And we're gonna do a touch-a-truck, and I reached out to Abby, and she said she thought you guys would
I kind
probably put in a
of
couple vehicles.
volunteered us, and I broke it to the light guys the other day, and
So we're getting voluntold.
yeah, there might have been a couple choice words, but all in all, they're happy to take part in it.
But I just wanted to plug another positive community interaction between town, village, all of the
Yeah.
departments and everything.
Well,
That's
if I
awesome.
can get 2 of them roped into it, which I'm pretty sure I can, we'll probably send a bucket and the digger, because it sounds like the town is gonna have their plow truck in, so we'll set a couple white trucks up.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right. Next on the agenda, resolution to delegate the village manager to approve park permit requests.
I should keep bringing this up until you make me do it, huh?
Yep.
So I had Jesse rewrite it. He wrote this one. He's not here, so. Because the request was so that I and/or the trustees could still make it approved. So
I'm all for it.
Yep, I think that's good.
Second time.
that reads better.
All right.
Just
I
sign
feel like
off.
that was unanimous, John.
I'll take a motion to approve the resolution to delegate the manager to approve park permit requests.
Did Leonard already?
We didn't
No,
technically
I
have a motion
didn't.
on the table.
I'll make.
I thought you already did.
Okay, now you can second it.
Okay, I'll second that.
All right.
We
So it's-
just need to sign off on
It's been
that
moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
because it is a resolution.
Oof, they were quick to throw you under the bus on
Yeah.
that one.
John, remind me, does this have like that 60-day period?
No, it's because it's a resolution.
Okay, so it's
You just need to sign
tomorrow,
it. Sign a
park
copy.
permit comes in, we don't have to.
You're all over it.
It's all over it. Yeah, I'm all over it.
Yeah.
That's why I put so many in tonight.
That's why, yeah. We're done for the summer. So just make sure we get a copy signed by everybody.
You got a clean copy that's not
Yeah.
stapled. So. All right. Next up, discuss the adoption of the Governor's Declaration of Inclusion.
I sent a.
I have copies. So,
That'll help.
I put it in there in the packet, and then, I don't know if you want, this is the actual declaration. Pass that down.
Oh.
I just thought of that one.
John, do you have an extra copy there?
Of the declaration?
Yes.
There's 2 extra copies right here.
That's the declaration, this is the, where'd it go? If everybody wants to see this, this is the.
So folks are reading this, like, so. Yeah, so the governor sent out a declaration in May. There's many points in here about how a declaration of inclusion supports our communities, both the people who live here already, people who are thinking about moving here, and showing that we are committed to all folks that are within our community. Several people on Front Porch Forum openly asked for wondered why Enosburg wasn't part of this. 100 and what was that number? Was it 143? Might have been 160. Some communities have already signed on. Just seems like a good idea.
Yeah, I'm definitely not opposed to it.
So if we choose to do this, we would need to at the very least rewrite village of versus town of.
Right.
And trustees versus select board. Most communities adopted as is.
Yeah, I'm definitely not opposed to it. I don't know that we should move on it, like I said in the email, until we have a full board. If we're adopting something like this for the entire village. Let everybody get their say in, which I would think they'd be for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's also, we're speaking for all future boards in general.
Right.
So if it seems like a good idea, I think I would be comfortable voting on it today.
I'm in the town and not in the village, but I'm waiting to see what you do, because I'd like to bring it forth to the town as well. So I'd like you.
Personally, I'm not comfortable moving on it until we have a full board. But I'm for it.
What are your thoughts, Leonard?
Still reading. What do you think?
I approve.
Okay. What do you think? Should we do it now or should we wait until we have our full board just to make sure everybody's on board?
You have a quorum.
Probably be better to wait for a full board.
And we do have a quorum, and I would definitely be concerned about a board member who is not pro-inclusion. So even if we had a full board, it would still pass. It would potentially
So
be a
this should
slightly
be
different
tabled.
conversation.
If we do have a board member that's not pro-inclusion, I think it's still worthwhile letting them have their voice and their speak in the matter, whether or not we override them or not. So I think I'd like to table it until next meeting. We should have a full board then. I don't think 1 month is gonna
No.
hurt us that badly.
If that's what we want to do, it is just saying that we are less sure about the level of inclusion by postponing it.
I feel like it's being more inclusive because we're letting more people have their say. Whether or not it goes through or doesn't, but that's the way I'm looking at it, I guess. Like to include the whole board.
Okay, we can bring it back to next month.
Alright, tabled till July. Follow-up discussion on ATVs in the village. I don't think there's anybody here for that. How are you guys tonight?
Again, I was here last month for Dan here, and I gave everybody a small map that I made. I don't know if you care for another, kept the one I gave you or whatever.
I still have mine in my folder if anybody wants to see it.
I was not here, so I haven't seen it.
Um, you care for one or-
I can just switch.
Anyway, that's a proposal for what we'd like to go through the village on side-by-sides. We are a small club, we call ourselves the Recycle Teenagers. The youngest one in our group is 60. We got a friend of mine here from Swanton, he represents Northwest Wheelers, and it's a big group. We are affiliated with them as well. And I guess we were asked the last time if we had signs of whatever to show coming in, going out, speed limit, stop, whatever, and Brian brought some here to show you what we do have as club members. We're all insured, we all have driver's license. We all wear helmets, we belong to clubs, we belong to the state. We'd like to come in the village to go shopping, restaurants, gas, whatever. I don't see that it would hurt Enosburg. We're not hot rods, we don't have loud mufflers, we're local people. Not all in the village, but around. And as we see it in the last 2 years, there's been a big group of us and more. Surrounding towns of Swanton, roads are okay, not the village, but the roads, town, Highgate, Franklin, Richford, Jay, there's a lot of community that if we got on the phone and said, you know, Sunday, let's go eat in Enosburg, we could gather a bunch. Same thing, to make their way home to, say for instance, they live in Jay or wherever, they gas up where they left. I don't see that it would harm Enosburg Village at all.
Newport has been open for 3 years now, something like that?
Yeah.
Been open for, they're one of the first areas I think you're open, is the town of Newport. Don't see many problems that we've ever heard of.
I think it would be good for the area myself. More business is better.
Business.
Eli, I will add in just on that, at the last meeting, it was discussed opening Main Street and not all the side residential streets. I don't know if that discussion took place when you guys were here or after, to kind of keep just like basically a corridor through the village. Obviously, we'd have to discuss Depot because there is a restaurant right there. But I know that was the discussion last meeting, just as you weren't here.
Just to keep out of the residential.
Right.
Some of the concerns that I have, there's kind of two. One is we struggle with enforcement of people not within the group. I hear complaints very, very regularly about four-wheelers and others in the community. And also, I feel like there hasn't been a lot of community conversation about how the community at large feels about this. I'm only hearing complaints. So as a representative of the community, I have a lot of concerns because that's where I'm hearing is just negatives. I hear what you're saying, and I love the thought of like respectful, what's the word? Recreation, thank you. We see a lot of disrespectful recreation, people playing chicken on the rail trail. I have somebody play chicken with me on the sidewalk in a four-wheeler. So we have that problem, and we have people wanting to use it respectfully. But I'm only hearing from community members that really dislike the idea of these vehicles on the road.
These are not four-wheelers, they're side-by-sides.
But they also they can be used on-road, off-road, and they can go and dip into the rail trail if they chose. And I'm hearing a very respectful group of people.
We're not allowed on a rail trail.
This is state highway. We're not allowed on the rail trail anywhere.
I get what I'm saying is a lot of people are doing things illegally, and that's where a lot of community
Those
members are.
you won't stop.
You can
That's
do the
kind
same
of,
thing with a Jeep.
that's kind of my argument too, is the people who are doing illegal things are gonna do illegal things, whether it's allowed or not allowed. I don't think this will increase, personally, I don't think this will increase the amount of disrespectful individuals that are currently doing what they're doing.
I know it was mentioned last meeting, it sounded like in some areas it actually helped with enforcement because of game wardens and I did ask, so we did have a meeting with the rail trail folks. They don't have like super enforcement, but I did ask once they go through and fix the rail trail, there's gonna be a little more enforcement for ATVs and stuff. And they said, yeah, they try to, what they can do and step up. They catch folks that aren't supposed to be on the rail trails on any kind of motorized vehicle. I know they've done it in Fairfield area through Lamoille. But
Would this be a whole charter change if it were to be adopted, or?
well, that's where, I would think the pub would have time, I'd have to double check, but it would be an ordinance change, so it would have to do the
You
whole
have to
60
post
days,
it.
you would have to post it, and then folks would have to, you'd have that comment period, I think it's 14 days or something, right? Or then you post it
Oh,
for
it's like a
60 days.
30-day comment period,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because I feel like this would be a pretty large change, and the community needs to have like a awareness and ability to add voice to this.
I will say, I hear a lot in the library, and I hear a lot of for this and gripes because they haven't been allowed to go through, and how much business it would bring into this community to have this. And I mean, I've been in Newport, and you only see respectfulness from side by sides in Newport. You do not see hell raising, you do not anything. So I feel it would be bad to say no based on those ones who do illegal things no matter what happens, just like people driving cars. Oh, this one's being illegal, should we not have cars going through in the village? I mean, you can't judge one group, and especially a very respectful group, based on those ones who are not respectful no matter what they're doing. So I think that has to be weighed in there too.
Yeah, just for you folks, no matter what I guess the answer is, if it's a yes at some point, there is that time frame that it takes.
Right, 60 days.
Yeah, maybe it's a total of 60 days, we've gotta warn it, so many days, and there's a comment.
Town of Swan did that, and Town of Highgate did it as well.
Yeah,
So you're familiar with the process.
Yeah.
By the time that's all done, summer's gonna be done.
Fall is a really fun time to ride, Leonard.
it'd be close.
Well, depends on what you put for dates on it.
Next year's coming.
That's right.
Well, this is something similar to the discussion of the Declaration of Inclusion. I don't want to make any motions on it until we have a full board, and we can receive everyone's input. So that's gonna bump us back at least a month, but I think that's the right thing to do. I don't really have any questions for you folks. You guys kind of do some of your own self-policing too, don't you? You know, if you see somebody,
We've done it.
That's one thing I was gonna say, if we're around in town, we'll be watching for those that are gonna be on the sidewalks or raising a heck or whatever.
So the question on the signage
Yeah.
was, would the group be putting the signs up?
Yeah, I'm with Vasa.
Yeah, so you'd be coming through, again, if
Yeah.
the answer is yes, and you would
Yes.
start tomorrow, you'd go through and you signage, whatever we would do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever you
I
want
can
to
show you what we have for signs.
but you folks provide the signs. And
You provide them and
Yeah,
all
we
that,
provide
okay.
We have stop signs, multi-facing signs, sharp curves, speed limits, whatever. Usually the speed limit is whatever the posted road is. We have, like say, John down the street, he's mad, we have sensitive area, people slow down. Everything is for members only, just not any, bigger area can use it. That these are a privilege, take care of them, stay on the trails. ATVs permitted, to join a club, our arrows. On the end of the streets, we put no ATVs and your helmets. And we have more signs too, I just didn't grab them all.
I appreciate that.
The only concern I've had, just so that way you guys, is the comment I've heard, negative would be, is there going to be a time? Is it going to be no after 10 o'clock at night, say, or no before 7 or 8 in the morning, so that way, because we know some of these are very loud, and I know I lived in the village, when you get those loud vehicles going through at 1, 2 in the morning, it's very upsetting.
If you do it on Main Street where all the trucks are going through too.
Is there generally a curfew, or is that kind of by town?
I thought,
Usually it's by town.
There's
We all
state
old
noise
people
ordinances
go
for
to bed
10.
early. Won't bother this group.
Good to know.
If the sun goes down, so do I.
I just thought I'd give you all the feedback I hear in the library.
Yep, that's helpful.
I live on the East Sheldon Road and I've heard some go by at midnight.
Me too.
And I can hear them, I live a
Pretty
quarter
sure they
mile
have
off
red
the
rail
road
trail
and I
in
can
my
hear
house.
them.
Yeah, noise bounces around the village. You can hear from the
Oh, yeah.
street over here all the way on the other side where I live. So we'd have to
Can't
look
stop.
at some models for what's.
I also hear
used to-
Jake brakes on Main
Yeah.
Street, and there's signs that says no Jake brakes.
There's a couple, 3, 4 small cars with mufflers that swear they don't have them. And I'd like nothing better to see them pulled over and confiscate the car.
We were talking about that tonight, there's one of them that has an exhaust system, sounds just like gunshots. I don't know
Yes.
what they do to it, but,
Yeah.
I mean, he went by on our road, I don't know, a few days ago. I paid attention, he goes, what the heck is going on? So they got a machine
Those
gun.
unless they're picked up, they're not gonna stop, they're gonna keep doing it, because they think they're cool. And that's not us.
A couple more
Like-
questions.
Late yesterday afternoon, there's a little black car that went up the street, the sheriff was right behind him, and he had to be going 80, 85, right up in front of my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the sheriff was right on him with the lights on, and the guy was not slowing down.
Yeah,
They did get him, that I did hear.
good.
His nickname is Boomer.
Oh, I know exactly who that is.
Okay.
Frequent flyer. Oh, very much so.
And
So-
then get-
Just a couple.
Heather's
Yeah.
Heather's got a couple more questions.
With an ordinance, does it pertain to just a particular group? Okay.
I can I can send out I'll do a little more research, like what Swans looks like, what High Gates looks like,
I think
and I'll talk to Jesse in our ordinance just to verify everything. And then
Okay. So yeah, it'd
I
be
think it's
definitely good to
opening
look
up.
at
I don't
some.
think you can restrict it to either you're open it's an all or nothing, I'm pretty sure, but.
I mean, that makes sense, because
Yeah,
then we'd
it'd just
have
be
different
TV
groups every
ordinance.
time come in
Asking for
asking,
permission.
so that, yeah, 'cause considering the process. That'd be,
Most people would rather be in the backwoods than in the village. So it's just, hey, let's go eat,
Grab some
have a
gas.
supper, or we need gas, or McDonald's, or,
Exactly.
other than that, and we bring good money to these places.
Yes, you
I
do.
mean, we must have spent, what, $700 at Bike Hole this week? Between
We're
everybody?
about 20 of us.
Yeah,
Well, look at Cajuns. I mean, you drive by there and you can't even pull in the yard and it's
Yeah.
all side by sides.
What's that tell you?
yeah,
Yeah, we've gone over on ours before, so.
Yeah, I mean, we go to New Hampshire for the weekends, we usually go Thursday, Friday, Saturday with a group of us, and we spend anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000. With your motel rooms and food and gas and.
That's why I feel it's a very lost opportunity for the village if they don't.
Two questions, I guess, quickly. Is town of Enosburg open?
Yes, Enosburg town is,
Sheldon?
yes, all Sheldon,
So everyone surrounding us.
all of Enos.
That's why
are-
the thought was opening like West Berkshire Road, so if they're coming down, or Water Tower Road if they're coming down. And then obviously this little stretch of West Enosburg, Duffy Hill, to basically give them an access point to go through, stop, and also head out of town.
And the village does plow. The village plows these roads.
No?
Oh, we thought you were gonna do that for us.
And then we start getting the permits.
Yes, we plow the roads.
Yeah.
I can tell you an experience of myself. I was coming in town through the Water Tower Road with my pickup, and the sheriff was set up there with a radar, and I pull up on the side of him and says, I've got a side by side, and I go up and down this road often. I says, is there delegations where I can't be here or shouldn't be here? He said, if I don't get a complaint, you won't hear anything from me.
And unfortunately, that's where a lot of cops are. They don't know all the, this is all new to them. So they don't know the rules. And as long as your front tires are in the air and you're being respectful, you drive right by them.
The first thing to look at, you got a helmet on your head,
Yeah, your helmet and your stickers.
number one.
And it has to be snap.
Yeah.
They can't just have it on your head.
All right.
They're strict. I mean,
Did you want to
you gotta abide by the law, or.
Did you want to hash out a map tonight or no? Just so you have one, or
I mean,
no?
we've got
Okay.
a starter idea here
Okay.
from Albert.
I bet you a lot of these police, they have a side by side themselves.
Yeah,
I kind of like the idea of staying on Main Street because that's going to be the noisiest road in town anyway.
right.
So if there's going to be a little bit of noise, 95% of the businesses you're going to hit are on Main Street. The only other one we may, like Abby spoke to, is maybe open up part of Depot Street so we go to Quincy.
I was gonna say, you gotta remember the fire departments have them, they're already going on these roads, so, side by side.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Thank
Said
you.
we're not going to take any action until we have a full board, but
All right. I'll leave these for you guys to
Yes, I'll be
read
in touch.
until our next meeting.
oh, good.
Explains what the clubs do, what Bassett does. The last page is,
Oh, Brenda,
the age groups of what we have.
John was saying he can reach out to Munson.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He might be able to, we'll put him on it.
Thank you. Thank you,
Have a good
John.
evening.
I better put that on my to-do list then.
You're not a member of the
Rolling by the
average-
minute.
average driver is
Yes.
7 years old.
Thanks, Brenda.
Thank you.
It opens the recreation to a whole nother demographic with snowmobiling kind of going downhill, you know?
Right,
There's no
People are,
sound.
right, people are looking for things to do, so.
right. Yeah, and people don't have $200-300 invested in these machines.
We're gonna
Right.
do this
You know,
tomorrow.
they're up there.
We have a meeting tomorrow.
Definitely.
We even had a guy here tonight from Texas that came here on his side by side.
Oh, did you?
I'm gonna,
Claude Parrott, Morse's son.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know these guys.
Oh,
Thursday I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Go walk.
But, all right, thank you
Appreciate
guys.
it.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good night.
You too.
One.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, what you got on the ARPA board?
John wrote this, I'm just.
So, ARPA funding, $102,000 left. We had a majority of that was dedicated a while ago for the Church Street sidewalk project. Part of the Maple Park came in a little under estimated, So we have Good Who started. He's working right now on Church Street. Estimate is 67,000, or just shy of 68,000. It may go over just a hair because we're adding a crosswalk as you get to Bismarck. We're adding an actual
Right
ramp.
by Miss Eppley's on that corner.
Yeah, there's no ramp there, and that wasn't built in, so they're adding a ramp there. So that would leave us about 34,000. We were looking at using that remaining funds to pay for the paving of Pleasant Street. And then, which we just literally got the bill today, and we thought we'd have a few $1,000s left over, but the actual cost ended up being $8,000 over for Pleasant Street. So we can use that, all of that, and just clean up the ARPA funds and be done and pay for the paving project on Pleasant Street with that, I guess is the question. In theory, the water department should be paying for a portion of that because a portion of it was from the break.
We're gonna have an overage, though, where the ARPA doesn't cover it all. 37,000 is gonna be the new
About
total.
2,000.
That's a 7 if you can't reach my chicken scratch.
So, again, the water department, because of all these breaks this year, is definitely running and will be running over budget.
And maintenance and water line budget is definitely gonna be over with. We just did the patch repair.
We did the patch here. And while Gray's was here, they did the patch on Pleasant Street and closer to
Right,
Heather's house.
And then we had two West Enosburg.
Two on West Enosburg
One
Road.
Archibald Street. We've had a lot of hit the ground running with water breaks. It was a Friday afternoon at 3. Common theme for a while.
So in theory, if I remember, Gary granted up some estimate numbers. It was about $7,000 to do that patch on Pleasant Street, and then that's when we decided just to do the whole street because it's in such bad shape.
The total for all the paving they did was 30 what?
So the total of the
For all the paving that
so our total bill was 73,000, but that includes wastewater and doing a couple projects. So our total was 28,000, and then another 28,000. So what's that? 56, and 10, about 66,000 total.
this was Trout Brook. That's
Oh,
wastewater.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, say that's not right because that's wastewater. You got 2,700 is wastewater, and the rest is
so
water breaks.
10, 38, 45,000 estimated.
I mean, if we didn't use the ARPA funds,
You would. It would have to come out of the general fund because you can't have water cover that whole stretch. So 7,000 of the $37,000 bill, give or take, would come out of water, and the rest technically should flow through the general fund. Sorry, word.
that we didn't budget for.
That we did not budget
Well,
for.
7,000, about 10,000 would come out of the water.
No, I'm talking just for
Oh,
Pleasant Street.
okay,
Just Pleasant Street.
That's the portion that we're worried about not being covered
Correct.
by the water
Yeah.
or wastewater department.
Correct. So water department theory of the $37,000 bill for Pleasant Street would cover the 7,000 and then the rest. There is a $15,000 line item in the general fund for paving. We've used a little bit. It's just for when they have to do like patches or for whatever reasons there. So there is that. We haven't used a ton of it this year. Fortunately, I can't connect in to tell you exactly. The other catch is that we do need to decide either way with the balance of the ARPA money, because by the end of last December, we had to submit, you had to have it allocated basically, and then expensed by the end of next year. So if whatever the board decides to do, we need to basically spent it here,
So tell me again, will the ARPA money cover the whole thing?
About $2,000 short.
which the water department could chip in on,
Or we could tap into the paving fund?
or we could tap into the paving fund. Water department, in theory, should pitch in a little bit towards it anyway because of the patch for the water leak. I would do that before I would
Yeah.
do the paving fund.
So I guess the question would be to use remaining ARPA funds after Church Street sidewalk final bill is due to go towards Pleasant Street paving.
Yeah, I'm definitely for that. I feel like the decision should have been made before we paved it, but it's too late now, it's done. So I guess I'll take a motion.
Well, we did meet and discuss it, and we were thinking of using that paving fund at that time and water chipping in. Our estimate, we went way over the estimate,
Yeah.
essentially. Because we were thinking about 15 and 7, about 24.
We had an estimate from ECI that was 23 for the whole thing, so that's where I think we came up with the 7 and then the 15, and then it ended up being way more significant than what we had initially anticipated.
Cool. Take a motion to pay for the remainder of the paving with the remaining ARPA money.
Make a motion.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Do you want that?
Yes, please.
Sure. That's you. I can go if you're ready.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Number 12, managers minutes.
I don't know if you had to officially announce it or not.
Yeah.
So update again. Part of this project is sidewalk project update. So Church Street is underway. Good Hughes is going at it right now, and so that should be done soon. They are done pouring the concrete up at the Elm Street project. They just have some side filling left to do.
Quick note on that, I guess, while we're talking about Elm Street. When they're done the sidewalk, is that when they're gonna fix their pavement
Then
issues?
they should be moving. Yeah, I got to follow up with Jameson on their list, their to-do list for the spring, or from last fall.
I do know, not to cut in, we talked to Jason Booth from A&E, and he did say they're waiting to kind of mobilize to finish up there, because on the CSO ARPA side of that project, the sewer side of that project, we have a fair amount of money left over. So we have submitted a request for more work, more slip lining and more work at the village, so they're kind of holding them off to mobilize until we get the okay from the state, so that they're not having to mobilize twice essentially. So that is why you haven't seen them readily out there fixing the stuff like originally planned, because trying to do it once rather
That's
than...
that's kind of what I figured they were trying to do. Is I'm sure they have a little bit of pavement work to do, where they had to cut driveways and whatever. So I
Yeah,
figured they'd want to do it all at once.
yeah, and there is still, I think, the slip lining, there's a
Maybe the slip lining.
subsection.
Yeah, there's a little section. Well, no, they just have to do the
Oh, the manholes.
manholes
That's right.
up on Elm Street, but now that leftover CSO, they're going to be doing the Cisco to Pleasant. So that will be, wastewater wise, will be good.
We are very much trying to spend every penny of what was allocated to us with the CSO money. We don't want to give back money.
So yeah, they're almost done up there. The sign just came in, so we have the flashing crosswalk sign that Parmelo paid for half, and the village paid for half for Bayview. So that's in. Kenny's gonna start putting together and get it up. And then again, supposedly next week is when all of their signage and stuff's coming in. That is part of that Munson's part to do in the state.
Can you remind me, do we have signs that warn people coming into the village that there's a crosswalk up ahead?
There will be.
Great.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the answer to that.
Yeah.
So, okay. Good.
So yeah, that's coming together. Billing update. So Abby and the ladies have been doing a great job. It's been There's
I have a lot more gray hair, but I'm just throwing that out there.
But they've been doing a great job in training and in staying with NISC. It's I mean, we've been, again, if you haven't seen it, we're trying to put out as much marketing as we can. It's on Facebook every day, Front Porch Forum, trying to get everybody. We have copies up at the front desk. The ladies are mentioning
Stuffers.
it. We sent stuffers. So it's been a lot. I mean, it's definitely, we opened up Pandora's box, I think, and learned a lot. I think ladies learned a lot. Again, part of it, especially on our electric side, we're just so regulated. NIC is just like.
I think we scared them away from working with Vermont in the future.
Between us and a couple other municipalities that they've picked up, I mean, they definitely have realized the regulation in Vermont can definitely be tricky. So, and how each municipality has whittled their way through it over the years and all the changes and so forth. So,
Invoice Cloud is taken offline. We will not be accepting any online payments effective today through Monday. Monday, the new platform will be put online, and everybody will have to re-sign up and re-register. So it is going to be a lot of phone calls the next couple of weeks. We're going to be holding a lot of hands of getting new account numbers, new everything. Mm-hmm. So we will have NISC on site next week. They're going to have about 4 people probably here to help us. We also, in the middle of that, next week we'll be billing. Town billing that is slated to go out next week will be with the new system. So we are officially done with FlexiBill.
So Invoice Cloud people, are they gonna have to cancel their auto pays, or will it just be done?
It's supposed to cancel everything. They are literally at 11:59 tonight going to disable Invoice Cloud for Village of Enosburg entirely. We'll still be able to get reporting and stuff on our side of things, but customers will have no access whatsoever. So it'll disable everything. A couple small changes going forward. Auto pay is going to be bank draft only. It's either that or we'd have to absorb the credit card fees, which we're not in a position to do. And all utilities are actually in Vermont have been moving away from absorbing the fees within their budget, because you'd be asking for all customers to pay the fees for, we only have like 245 customers that sign up for auto pay, so it is a very small percentage. But we're gonna have so many more ways that people can pay online now. There's an app. I actually have it on my phone if anybody wants to check it out. It's pretty cool. But so there are some limitations to what we can do with it, but
What's the percentage of people that pay cash at the office?
Oh, honestly, Leonard, I don't think I could even answer that question because it varies from month to month. We have our regulars. I would say that the amount of checks that we have would actually surprise you with the amount of people that mail or bring their checks in.
Is it close to 50 to 60?
I would agree with that number for
cash.
checks and cash. Yeah, we have a lot of very kind of like the old school that want to come in and hand you the check and make sure, or the drop box, or mail a check. It actually kind of impresses me how many people still do that. 'Cause I know I don't. But there's going to be growing pains, but I think it's all going to be good. It's just going to be getting through the first couple weeks of people realizing what's going on and that they have to re-sign up.
The other positive, and I'm not going to get too excited yet, we're waiting to get it plays out, but the AMI integration is all starting to. So we have the billing, we have AMI, so starting August 18th, there's gonna be a pretty harsh heat letter going out some point in July about water meter change out. So we're gonna start with water meters and then go to power meters. Our water meters, I think some come yet. But all of our water meters are coming.
How many of those? What's
515.
out of?
515.
So we have to change them all.
Water.
We're gonna change them all. It was a $20 difference between changing them and changing the head.
Yeah.
And when we went through, so we took the lead inventory. When we did the lead inventory, we went through and kind of looked at all the pictures. We did kind of a random throughout the village a sample, and a lot of them were over 1 million gallons. So that's supposedly like and they were all. You can see the number. You can see the date. And they're all from like '89.
From an inventory perspective too, we are gonna be inventorying all the meters that go in their new software. We'll be able to kind of keep track of the meter numbers and whatnot. So from that standpoint, it's gonna give us a better idea of what we have out there for our system and when there's
Yeah, so we'll have the
issues.
serial numbers. We'll have pictures. So we'll have a lot more information once this is all done. And the AMI will, once the billing kicks in, then the AMI will take over and auto feed and so forth.
Is there still gonna be like wires run from the inside to the outside?
There is, because we have to put the MTUs.
I
So
think you guys
that's
have
the
like an
radio.
antenna or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have the radio piece of equipment on the outside. It's a little bit bigger box, but that will radio to the DCU.
Good.
Yeah. So those all have to be paired together and then get installed. So it's gonna be quite a process. So the one nice thing is, again, it's a harsh email, but or letter. That's what we send out. But we're not regularly in the water world, so we technically, if someone is really giving us pushback and not letting us in the basement, we can shut their water off and until they comply. So.
Don't give us a hard time, Eli. We'll shut your
Yeah.
water.
But
He's wondering if he needs water.
Right.
and we actually have dates for our power meter arrival, which is 7/18 and August 8th. There's gonna be 2 shipments, so that's another huge step because it was kind of been like, who knows. So that's all coming in. So that's that. We do have the fence up by the new park, and I am just waiting. I did put it out. Abby took a poll with some kids that came and helped on the bridge, and I also put it over. I got to follow up with the school, the 3rd and 4th graders, to name the new park.
Cool.
So
I have a list of names from the 5th graders that were here planting the flowers on the bridge last week.
Good deal.
And our beautiful flowers that we had on the picnic table survived until last night when somebody stole them.
yeah,
Sorry.
just got everything done. We had the benches
Yeah,
and
benches
everything.
are there,
They
the
look
table,
good,
and all
I
of that
noticed
was
them
by a grant with the Wild and Scenic. So I'll be taking pictures and sending them the closeout information. We shipping for the picnic tables and vendors were more than anticipated, so we did have to eat a little bit of that cost. But overall, the grant covered all of that, and them babies are heavy. So
And lastly, just thank you to the Lions Club again. Another great dairy festival. Brought a lot of folks to the community. And it always amazes me how I drive through Monday morning at 6:30 and it's like nobody's there.
Yeah.
It's
you
amazing.
would never know what just happened in the last 72 hours.
Even my son commented on it when we went for a walk last week. He's like, wow, they really cleaned up after the dairy festival. How'd they do that?
Anyhow,
Lots of
yeah,
good
so-
volunteers and they know what they're doing and they care. So
And I enjoyed, and so did my dogs. I got them a plate for the breakfast on Sunday.
Good.
Gravy and biscuits and
Good stuff.
yeah, nice.
So we circle back to the review and approval of the minutes. I glanced over them, they looked alright. Either you guys
Can I
wanna?
take a
Yep.
peek real quickly?
Literally had questioned myself. I'm like, I did write that right.
I think that's right.
I didn't even notice those were in the pack. Like,
Me either, and so I'm like looking for it, and I'm like, wait
Yell
a
it.
minute.
I'll yell at Suki. My backup.
Didn't even. Like, yep, looks good.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, we don't update about the rate just because we've been looking here trying to stuff apart.
Oh yeah, I can.
We're having issues with
Oh,
our
that
rates
looks
for the
good.
trash racks. So at some point you'll see a crane down here pulling it apart. And we have to ship it back to New Hampshire with a company, with Alpine Machinery to fix and then bring it back. But I'm having some difficulties with them, but they are gonna warranty some of it. So during that time frame, it may impact our operation. Because if there's a lot of
Nothing stopping
debris,
the trash.
yeah, if there's a lot of debris, we're gonna have to either back the hydros way down or shut them off entirely. But hopefully Like they're coming tomorrow, actually, I believe, to pull it. Tomorrow or Thursday to pull it, and once they tear it apart, they'll get a better idea how long it'll take, so hopefully we don't have too much downtime with all of this.
Look okay?
I just need that copy back after you approve it, cause that's my copy. It's my original.
I'll take a motion to approve minutes from May 13th.
Make a motion.
I'll second that.
Alright, moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Any other business?
One thing, there was a survey on the Facebook page about the spabbing cure ideas. One, I'm a little curious about it, and two, can we update it with a link so people that are online
That's a
can
good call,
actually hit
'cause-
the link? Because otherwise
You
you
should
need.
have a QR code.
Yeah, but you can't scan it, if
if
you're on
you-
your phone, you can't scan the, you
Code
can't
while you're on your
access it on
phone.
your phone.
Like if you were
Oh.
Facebook on a computer, you could pick up your phone and scan it. Like I tried downloading the code, I tried a bunch of different things and I couldn't get anywhere with it.
I'll have to find out if we can do that.
Yeah, they just need to add the link. The QR code can be an image, and then they just add the website, which survey address.
Okay. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
figure that out tomorrow. Nothing on my to-do list.
As long as yours is growing and not mine, I'm okay
Oh, yeah, we
with
can
it.
tell about it.
So did
yeah.
you want to ask questions on it? So essentially what happened was the town, Jesse and I were up there during a walkthrough with the engineer and the owner. And
Is it still Tim Camisa?
yeah. So the engineer just was asking about what folks are looking for needs. And obviously because of the shape of the building and she's the engineer, it's like as we start restoration, we're obviously going to try to use every square footage we can, how many units we can get in there, what are people looking for. So they just asked if we would look to put a survey out. So the town is supposed to also put the survey out. I felt that just because it's such a staple in our community that should have some local voices, it's an old historical building. I don't know if it was just some other building, probably wouldn't be as interested, but because it's a historical building in the community, we're putting it out there for a survey.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And what people are looking for housing. I mean, I guess the first thought is 55 and older. Parking's at a premium there. You're talking elevators and all that fun stuff. So, Jesse and I just discussed it. We said, yeah, we'll just throw out the survey once they had it completed and they got it done. So,
Cool. Sounds great. Yeah, look forward to going through the survey. Look good. Thanks. Eli reminded me, I've got some really good news about the youth center. Last week, we got our letter that we are, as of June 21st, a federally recognized 501c3.
oh, nice.
So,
Congrats.
hurrah. And I don't remember if I emailed you or not this morning or today. They mailed out our check today.
Okay,
So that'll be coming.
we'll let you know when it's in.
Thank you. Didn't mean to keep bugging you. They were several weeks later than anticipated. But they eventually started emailing people and explaining the situation. So that was really exciting. It made for a really fun afternoon, and I can't mention that just yet. I did have one other thing in other business is I would like us to consider going back to twice a month for board meetings. It feels just really far between talking about stuff, and if you miss one board meeting, feels like you miss a lot more than before when we were meeting twice a month. So I don't know if you want to talk about that today or when we have. I know we're going to be discussing. We will be filling up our board soon, but it just feels like once a month just doesn't seem to really feel like enough time to have touch points between projects and stuff.
Alright, good note. Any other business? So take a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of discussing in which premature public knowledge may compromise the position of the municipality.
Yeah,
Make the
negotiations
motion.
here.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I can't spell
Moved.
that. You're missing a
We're
word.
good.